Black people say they know Joe Biden, but they don't know Joe Biden or his racist history.
From the crack epidemic of the 80s to the crime wave of the 90s to the post 9/11 war on terror, throughout his career, Biden has represented the Democratic Party consensus.
Before Joe Biden was a fragile old man, Joe Biden tried to be a bully, something they tried to accuse Donald Trump of in a debate.
Quite frankly, were this not a political debate, I suspect John and I would go behind the barn and work this out.
Joe Biden was trying to kick people's ass way back then.
It's time to change and yield to a position that Senator Carol Moseley Braun raised on the floor of the Senate, not granting a federal charter to a organization made up of many fine people who continue to display the Confederate flag.
And the last time I checked, the Confederate flag was the KKK flag.
Over his 44 years in the Senate and then as vice president, Biden was a leading architect of today's criminal justice system, which contributed to mass incarceration and the police misconduct that protesters are fighting back against today.
Joe Biden is the architect of the police and the black community trust issues right now. And then Joe Biden got the nerve to say,
"You have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black."
Donald Trump never told nobody who they better vote for.
Simply because of the hue of your skin.
Donald Trump asked, "What the hell do you got to lose?"
Who wants to see a better future. Look how much African American communities have suffered under Democratic control. To those I say the following: what do you have to lose?
It don't have nothing to do with Trump. It has to do with the fact I want something for my community.
Can one black person, or white person for that matter, watching this video can name one thing Joe Biden said he's gonna do for black folks?
I would love to see.
Take a look at my record, man. I have a record that is second to none.
I think the voters that vote for you should look at your record before they vote for you, especially the black people.
Joe has a terrible history in the black community, and everybody just loves him because he's a fluffy old guy.
And the supposedly black president said he was cool.
The NAACP has endorsed me every time I've run.
That's a motherfucking lie. Salamander should have checked that nigga on it, or at least knew his homework that knew Joe Biden was lying. When do Joe Biden ever get fact-checked?
Come on. Take a look at the record.
Well, nigga, since you insist.
Former Vice President Joe Biden, he's run for president twice before, unsuccessfully. He's never before been the front runner.
But now Joe Biden is supposed to be the savior of the world.
Now that he is towering over all the other declared Democratic candidates, his almost 5 decades in public life are getting some real scrutiny. On top of that list, his record on civil rights during his younger days as a U.S. Senator.
When Joe Biden said he fought for black people's civil rights.
Marched in the civil rights movement. I did not march with a 12-point program. I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes. And we changed attitudes.
Joe Biden said he marched in the civil rights movement, but he can't name one march he was in. And that's not the only civil rights he said he fought for blacks.
When I was 17 years old, like many of you, I participated in sit-ins to desegregate the restaurants and movie houses of Wilmington, Delaware.
I came out of the civil rights movement. I was one of those guys that sat in and marched and all that stuff.
Joe Biden said he marched for civil rights and sat in movie theaters for civil rights. And we know that's a motherfucking lie. And I ain't gotta tell you. Joe will tell you his motherfucking self.
During the 60s, I was, in fact, very concerned about the civil rights movement. I was not an activist.
Meaning he didn't march and he didn't sit no damn where.
I worked at an all-black swimming pool in the east side of Wilmington, Delaware.
Where he met Corn Pop.
I was involved in what they were thinking, what they were feeling.
Meaning he was doing dope with Corn Pop.
I was involved, but I was not out marching. I was not down in Selma. I was not anywhere else.
Including sitting down with blacks in the movie theater and marching with them on the street.
I was a suburbanite kid who got a dose of exposure to what was happening to black Americans when I'm in my own city.
Joe Biden claimed he was so black he even attended a historical black college.
I I got started out of HBCU, Delaware State. Now, I don't want to hear anything negative about Delaware State.
Even you lying to talking about you attended Delaware State.
So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college.
Joe Biden, if you attended a HBCU, why you didn't help him out when you was in office?
You're okay. They're my votes, but all kidding aside, the fact is that HBCUs are in trouble financially.
And you are the black president, didn't do nothing to help out your alma mater. Ain't that a bitch?
You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me.
Or racist. Not only did Joe Biden lie about what black school he went to, he also lied about fighting for black civil rights.
You know, when I was a teenager in Delaware, for real, I got involved in the civil rights movement. We have the 8th largest black population in America. Most people don't know that.
You forgot something, Joe Biden.
And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country.
And most black people probably didn't know that either.
I got my education, for real, in the black church.
And now your ass is lying in the black church.
And that's not hyperbole, it's a fact.
Joe Biden got a lot of facts about black people.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
I bet black people didn't know that.
But I got my education, Reverend Doc, in the black church. Not a joke.
It's not a joke because it's a lie. And lie's not funny. The truth is.
Because when we used to get organized on Sundays to go out and desegregate movie theaters and things like that, we do it through the black church.
You did? Well, now the only time you come to the black church is to get black votes.
In October, I was invited to the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis to receive the Freedom Award. A thing when I sat in black churches in the east side of Wilmington getting ready to, and by the way, next to two Jewish rabbis, getting ready to go out and desegregate movie theaters in Delaware.
So now you're going back on the segregated movie theaters and shit.
I never ever thought in my life I would be worthy of, and I'm still not sure I'm worthy of it.
Shit, we know you're not worthy of it, but I wonder what your white supremacist supporters would think if they knew you were supposed to be doing something for black folks back in the days. White supremacists like the head white supremacist, Richard Spencer. Richard Spencer, the one that put the Charlottesville rally together, say vote Joe Biden. Chris Wallace continuously asked Donald Trump to rebuke people, but he never asked Joe Biden to rebuke anybody.
I have to say, I've said it many times, and let me be clear again, I condemn the KKK. I condemn all white supremacists. I condemn the Proud Boys.
Who have Joe Biden ever condemned?
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
White nationalist Richard Spencer, who hailed Trump when he was first elected, is among those who are turning on Trump.
Yeah, when white supremacists found out Donald Trump wasn't a white supremacist.
Many white nationalists will eat up this red meat that Donald Trump is throwing out there. I am not one of them.
You one of the white supremacists that know Donald Trump ain't racist.
I recognize the con game that is going on.
And the one thing this president is really, really good at is using fear and confusion and spreading lies to win.
Yeah, if you want to say he lied to white supremacists.
They say Trump is all talk and no action on maintaining white dominance in America.
Because Donald Trump was too busy helping black people out of the predicament that the Democratic Party left him in for the last 100 years.
He gives us nothing outside of racist tweets. And by racist tweets, I mean tweets that are meaningless and cheap and express the kind of sentiments you might hear from your drunk uncle while he's watching Hannity.
And Joe Biden give racist Democrats exactly what they want. He have a history of giving racist Democrats exactly what they want.
Gentlemen and ladies of the Senate.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education.
But Joe Biden didn't want to mix black kids with his kids because he said it would be like a jungle. Joe Biden had racist friends in this racist party, the Democratic Party, that mentored him.
What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists.
And how racist Joe Biden policies really were.
In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus.
A focus that fake news refused to focus on.
On March 25, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system."
And when he said our educational system, he wasn't talking about blacks.
Biden sought and received support from Mississippi Senator James Eastland.
And you can't say James Eastland wasn't racist.
He has publicly declared that Negroes living on his plantation, working or not, have a home for life.
James Eastland owned slaves.
Senator Eastland has never done nothing for nobody poor. Not in this county.
Joe Biden learned from the best.
Because the people on Senator Eastland's plantation is just as poor as I am.
And just as black as you is, sister.
And he hadn't done anything for them. And he hadn't done anything for nobody else.
That's because James Eastland did not like blacks.
That's poor in Sunflower County. And I've been right here in Sunflower County since I was 2 years old.
And James Eastland ain't done nothing for black folks in all that time. Ain't that a bitch?
He frequently spoke of blacks as, quote, an inferior race. Eastland and others were partners on several of Biden's anti-busing bills.
The bill that was designed to keep white kids away from black kids and stop black kids from getting a better education.
On June 30th, 1977, Biden wrote, "Dear Mr. Chairman, I want you to know that I very much appreciate your help during this week's committee meeting in attempting to bring my anti-busing legislation to a vote.
And thanks for your racist advice."
Then in 1978, Biden again asked Eastland to put his anti-busing bill before the full Senate.
I took your advice and now got a policy.
Those letters I find somewhat surprising given Senator Biden's or Vice President Biden's current position and potential candidacy for the presidency.
A position not brought up by fake news or a debate moderator, Chris Wallace.
Well, the fact that he would solicit the support of staunch segregationists
is surprising to nobody who knows the Democratic Party history.
I was actually it was hurtful to hear you talk about the reputations of two United States senators who built their reputations and career on the segregation of race in this country.
Oh, bitch, shut up. It's too late now. Now you supporting Joe Biden after you done called the nigga racist. Now he's supposed to unite the country. Ain't that a bitch?
And it was not only that, but you also worked with them to oppose busing.
Well, bitch, that make you a sellout because you working for the nigga who you just called racist.
And, you know, there was a little girl in California who was part of the second class to integrate her public schools.
And now your ass is working with his racist ass to oppose MAGA.
And she was bused to school every day. And that little girl was me.
And there was a crackhead who lived in my grandmother's house, my uncle, that probably broke in that public school. That would be a good story if you really did get bused to get to the top. But we all know you suck dick to get to the top. The bus didn't have nothing to do with it.
To coddle the reputations of segregationists, of people who, if they had their way, I would literally not be standing here as a member of the United States Senate.
No, bitch, if you didn't suck Willie Brown dick, you wouldn't be sitting right there in front of the Senate.
All the people of the South are in favor of segregation.
And so was Joe Biden.
And Supreme Court or no Supreme Court, we are going to maintain segregated schools down in Dixie.
And that's coming straight out of one of Joe Biden's mentor's mouth. Meaning Joe Biden, just like his mentor, didn't want blacks in the school.
I think, it's misinformed and it's wrong.
Well, bitch, have you ever asked Joe Biden to apologize?
But Biden is not backing down.
And the Democrats make sure nobody brings it up.
Apologize for what?
For all the pain you caused the black family.
They're a bunch of racists. You know, there was, James O. Eastland, Mississippi, Strom Thurmond, and so on.
You and your racist friends. Wait a minute, nigga. Didn't you have a relationship with Strom Thurmond?
Thank you, Horace. That's a very nice introduction. It could have been shortened a great deal by saying Joe Biden is here tonight. He works for Strom Thurmond.
You said you work for Strom Thurmond.
Hearings, I have been so conditioned by Senator Thurmond.
Joe Biden said he was conditioned by Senator Thurman.
It was the mid-1970s. Biden favored desegregation, but not through busing.
That's back when Joe Biden favored segregation by any means necessary.
What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists.
And if you didn't know, that's another word for racist.
In a series of never-before-published letters reviewed by CNN, the strength of Biden's opposition to busing comes into sharper focus.
Joe Biden racism should be so sharp you should be able to cut it with a knife.
Yeah, that's right. So Joe Biden, as we know, has this really long record in the Senate, and that's something that he's sort of basically campaigning on, that he can take us back to this bygone era of bipartisanship.
Because Joe Biden got along with racists on both sides of the aisle. How else you think he got all them votes to pass them racist bills?
Think that I would be one day on the floor of the United States Senate being paid such accolades by such a man of character and courage as John Stennis.
John Stennis, another one of Joe Biden's racist friends.
It was beyond any expectation that I ever had in my wildest dreams.
Joe Biden get a wet dream thinking about John Stennis.
But as we uncovered in our reporting, that also includes working with some people like former segregationists, people who oppose civil rights, and in this case, John Stennis.
Joe Biden looked up to John Stennis like the Klan member he is.
He was a Mississippi senator. Biden actually praised him a whole number of times.
How many racist people have they caught Donald Trump praising?
In his career, he called him a personal hero, a legend. He went to his birthday party in Mississippi and compared him to Stonewall Jackson.
Damn, who Joe Biden gonna compare John Stennis to next? Jesus?
Stennis had served from the 40s until the 80s, and then Biden, even up into the 2000s, up until recently, has sort of talked about how these people who were segregationists like Stennis and Strom Thurmond, who he eulogized, and Jim Eastland, became his friends after working with them in the Senate.
How many racists have fake news linked Donald Trump to?
Mr. Cresswell, one of the friendships that conservative John Stennis from Mississippi had on Capitol Hill was with a young, rather liberal senator from Delaware named Joe Biden.
Who John Stennis mentored as one of his own.
And it's not quite clear to people yet how Biden's past praise of people like this is going to fare in a Democratic Party that's sort of evolving on issues of race.
The Democratic Party is evolving on the issue of race, all right. They blaming other people of being racist.
So what the president is doing is once again patently false. It's morally wrong. And yes, it is racist.
And yes, bitch, you are lying.
If Senator Stennis had to stand for re-election today in Mississippi, that friendship with Joe Biden certainly would be exploited.
I think Joe Biden's racist past should be exploited right now. I mean, he is running for president.
In a campaign, in a sort of guilt by association.
Ain't that a bitch? And Donald Trump is guilty with no association.
I remember when Joe Biden was first elected to the Senate.
50 years ago.
And I don't believe he quite had met the age requirement.
Joe Biden was too young to get in office.
And he came to see Senator Stennis, and they talked and talked.
They talked and talked. That was awfully strange right after some Illuminati shit done happened.
And I believe Joe's wife had just been killed in an automobile accident and so forth, and Senator Stennis spent a lot of time with him.
A lot of time with Joe Biden after Joe Biden sacrificed his wife.
And they developed a good friendship.
And mentorship.
But when Senator Stennis retired, Joe was, of course, still in the Senate. And he was looking for an office.
And guess who office he chose?
And so I got him in and showed him Senator Stennis's office, and we had, I believe, 6 rooms, and it was a rather spacious office. and there was a huge table.
And what kind of table is that? Wait a minute, before I jump into the table, I was supposed to put this part before this part. So let me tell you why the table is so important.
He even said that of Stennis, who opposed Brown versus Board of Education with something called the Southern Manifesto.
So what was the Southern Manifesto?
It was something Joe Biden friends made up so their kids wouldn't go to school with black kids.
We hear that the manifesto that it seethed with anger, that it bristled with angry words, and that it had an ugly vehemence. People say about the signers that they were fanatic segregationists.
That means extreme racists.
It says that the Southern Manifesto was an ejaculation of bile and an orgiastic declaration of defiance.
Kind of sound like having sex with my baby mama.
Recovering those arguments in detail enables one to understand how the manifesto in significant ways should be viewed as the missing dissent to Brown versus Board of Education.
Because it was the manifesto that keeps schools segregated. Now back to why the table is so important.
This was a racist manifesto a lot of these Democrat Southerners had signed on to. In fact, Biden even bragged about Stennis gifting him with the table on which the Southern Manifesto was signed.
Need I say more? Joe Biden got Southern racist memorabilia.
Wow, how did the media miss this?
I don't think they missed it. I think they ignored it.
And Frank tells me
that's right.
that when Joe Biden became vice president and moved to the vice president's home off of Massachusetts Avenue, I believe, he took that table with him.
And Barack Obama let that shit in office. I bet you that's the same table Joe Biden got in his basement right now he used for good luck. Joe Biden got a long history of racism.
It was old media that got him in trouble. Personal comments he made about another White House hopeful, Senator Barack Obama.
Joe Biden basically called Barack Obama a clean crackhead.
I mean, you got the first sort of mainstream African American who is articulate and bright and clean and a nice looking guy. I mean, that's a storybook, man.
At least you didn't call Barack Obama a nigger.
We already have a nigger mayor. We don't need any more nigger big shots.
If it was left up to Joe Biden, we wouldn't have no more niggas, period.
I think the two-party system is good for the South and good for the Negro, good for the black in the South.
Well, he said Negro. At least he didn't use the ER at that time.
Other than the fact that they still call me boy, I think they've changed their mind a little bit.
Boy, that's just like saying nigga. And people say Donald Trump say Haiti was a shithole country. Well, what about what Joe Biden said about Hades? I meant Haiti.
Is it because blacks are involved in Haiti?
Yeah, that's why I asked the question, because blacks are involved in Hades.
If Haiti just quietly sunk into the Caribbean or rose up 300 feet, it wouldn't matter a whole lot.
So in other words, you don't give a fuck if Hades go to hell or blow the fuck up.
They're going to put you all back in chains.
Simply because of the hue of your skin.
Now that was racist. And Joe Biden never denounced his racist past or his racist present.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Meaning Joe Biden think black kids are dumb.
Biden is facing sharp criticism. At a fundraiser Tuesday, Biden describing Senator Herman Talmadge of Georgia as one of the meanest guys I ever knew. But adding, well, guess what? At least there was some civility. We got things done.
And when he say getting things done, do you think Joe Biden mean getting things done against white people?
And recalling Senator James Eastland of Mississippi, Biden said, he never called me boy. He always called me son.
Meaning he respects you as family and not like a nigga on the street.
That somebody running for president of the United States, somebody running to be the leader of our party, should know that using the word boy in the way he did can cause hurt and pain.
Joe Biden don't give a fuck.
Living with the knowledge that no matter how hard we try, how much good we do in the world, there will be far too many who will never see our humanity.
Have Joe Biden ever showed any humanity towards blacks?
Vice President Biden shouldn't need this lesson.
And who knows if he learned from his lesson, because he haven't done nothing yet to prove it.
Who will project on us their own fears of retribution for centuries of injustice and thus only see us as a threat to be restrained.
In a nutshell, the president's plan doesn't include enough police officers to catch the violent thugs, not enough prosecutors to convict them, not enough judges to sentence them, and not enough prison cells to put them away for a long time.
Do you think for 1 minute Joe Biden is talking about locking up white people?
He wanted to remove judicial discretion for those who, quote, don't meet the middle-class criteria of susceptibility to rehabilitation.
Now, do you think for 1 minute Joe Biden was not talking about black people?
I like the idea they keep in jail longer. I'm the guy that wrote the bill requiring federal judges to keep people in jail 100% of the time for which they're sentenced.
Now, do you think for 1 minute Joe Biden designed this plan to lock up white people?
Put yourselves in our shoes for just a moment.
And help understand how Joe Biden helped destroy the black community.
They are beyond the pale, many of those people. They literally have not been socialized.
Do you think for 1 minute Joe Biden is talking about white folks?
Imagine how it feels to have suspicion cast on you from the day you were born.
You should ask Joe Biden.
They are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families.
Do you think Joe Biden talking about keeping them people away from black folks?
Whipping up violence and intimidation?
That's exactly what Joe Biden do.
It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my son.
And your son is gonna take on they dope. And after that, your son Hunter is gonna take on your other son, Bo wife.
So I don't want to ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street.
And locked up like animals.
I would put the son of a gun in jail. Increase the penalties. Increase them. Crime bill, the Biden crime bill. The Biden crime bill. Hell, we've got crime bills coming out our ear.
That will lock black people up for a long ass time.
There's every major crime bill since 1976. Every minor crime bill has had the name of the Democratic senator from the state of Delaware, Joe Biden.
And I wonder how many black families all them crime bills destroyed. And if Joe Biden couldn't lock them up forever, he had a better idea.
The Biden-Thurman Violent Crime Control Act of 1991 would have increased the maximum sentence for 44 crimes to include the death penalty.
Get rid of their ass forever.
A wag in the newspaper recently wrote, Biden has made it a death penalty offense for everything but jaywalking.
So next on the Joe Biden death penalty list is niggas walking down the street.
I'm gonna make it for 46 crimes. Biden says make it for 51. We're gonna get tough.
And get black people off the street forever, one way or the other.
Then he presented the final version of the legislation.
60 new death penalties, brand new, 60. There are 70 additional enhancements of penalties, i.e. you go to jail longer.
Joe Biden is auctioning niggas' time and life away like he auctioning cars.
And he led the fight to pass the landmark 1994 crime bill under Bill Clinton.
When I wrote the original bill that started this whole process, the so-called Biden crime bill, I didn't call a liberal confab and write it. I didn't call any big society people and write it. I called the cops.
Well, they showing the hell not calling you now. They calling Donald Trump.
A Democratic president wants 100,000 cops. A Democratic president wants to build 125,000 new prison cells. That's the secret.
And you just let the cat out of the bag. Well, the cat been out of the bag. It's just the left and fake news don't show this type of shit on social media. So black people don't know.
They don't have time to fact check falsehoods being spread throughout the internet.
But they got time to be on Facebook posting quotes about shit nobody give a damn about. They should do their homework and learn more about the Democratic Party history. Joe Biden said the same thing.
That somehow the Republicans tried to make the crime bill tougher. I say poppycock. They didn't make anything tougher.
Because can't nobody make a crime bill tougher on blacks than a racist.
Found out that this midnight basketball isn't getting them together, a bunch of jive folks living in their city to do, try to see if they can be Michael Jordan.
And now they're trying to be like LeBron James, the sports athlete, social justice face.
When they found out they were keeping schools open, so gangs come off streets instead of out raping my mother, marauding me.
Rimrodding you. Joe Biden, do you want to get raped too?
They're stoking fears about black and brown Americans, lying about how minorities will destroy the suburbs.
And my daughter will be safer, my wife will be safer, my mother will be safer.
And white people will be safer.
And I will be safer. And I will be happy.
If my grandmother stopped cripping, I will be happier and safer. She got bloods doing drive-by on the house and the police.
Racism, fear, division. These are powerful weapons.
Never again should Washington put politics and party above law and order.
Well, the Democrats can't even say law and order no damn more because they believe in law and order.
But that doesn't mean it won't work.
They just went too far with the damn order and the law, to tell you the truth.
Hey, Clinton, you didn't want to take pictures of my people here. We're still in jail for what you did.
And some black families are still destroyed over the Joe Biden crime bill, but he ain't apologized yet.
When Biden ran for president in 2008, he told the New York Times that he knew more people would be locked up across the board.
And that was the exact plan he planned to do.
You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. In fact, I drafted the bill.
And he happy it served its purpose.
The millions of folks who look like me and fought and died and toiled as slaves and soldiers and laborers to help build this country
should be ashamed of themselves if they vote Joe Biden.
The mass incarceration created by Biden's lock-em-up policies ripped apart vulnerable communities and families for a generation.
And probably more generations to come.
I want everyone who is still undecided to think about all those folks like me and my ancestors.
And I want all the people that come from where I come from to think about what Joe Biden did to your family.
We had enormous success.
If fucking up black people's life is what you call success, job well done. Joe Biden contributions to the black community is imaginary, while Donald Trump contributions to the black community is overlooked. Receiving awards with Muhammad Ali and Rosa Parks. Receiving awards from Jesse Jackson for the work he done in the black community. Making Martin Luther King Day a federal holiday. The black president didn't even do that. Signing bills that help black people out of prison. Empowering young black leaders. Black unemployment at an all-time low. The highest funding for historical black colleges ever. Opportunity zones, bringing businesses into black communities so black people can get employment. Advocating for better education for black kids. Advocating school choice for black kids. Giving black people opportunity to get their life back. Reuniting black people with their family. Turning niggas like me into believers. Bringing black leaders who never been into the Oval Office, including when the black president was in the White House, into the White House, into the Oval Office to hear what black people need in their community. Not letting the Democratic Party take the black church voice and the black church dollars. Donald Trump got proof. Joe Biden got promises. Donald Trump black support has doubled since 2016. And with his platinum plan, his support should damn near triple.
And I'm here today to announce a brand new plan to deliver more opportunity more security, more fairness, and more prosperity to black communities.
The only thing Joe Biden is going to bring to the black community is more immigrants.
We call it the Platinum Plan. Platinum Plan.
Well, all the platinum teeth these niggas got in their mouth nowadays, they should make a rap song about this plan.
And that's a contract with black Americans, and it's going to be something that people talk about for a long time to come.
The left is not going to talk about it or let their slaves know because they don't have no platinum plan.
Living with the knowledge that no matter how hard we try, how much good we do in the world, there will be far too many who will never see our humanity.
The Democrats got a plantation plan.
And then think about what the next 4 years could mean for our country's future.
If you vote Republican over the next 4 years, we will create 3 million new jobs for the black community.
And if you was to vote for Joe Biden, immigrants will have them jobs.
Because we can no longer pretend that we don't know exactly who and what this president stands for.
I do, but most black people don't, because that's something fake news won't show them.
Open 500,000 new black-owned businesses.
And maintain law and order, so Black Lives Matter can't go around burning black businesses down and not face the consequences.
Increase access to capital in black communities by $500 billion.
Think about what would possibly compel you to accept this level of chaos, violence, and confusion under this president and be willing to watch our country continue to spiral out of control.
While Donald Trump is taking on the responsibility to take it back.
And this includes investing in community development, financial institutions, and minority depository institutions.
That's reparations for your ass.
Build up peaceful and safer urban neighborhoods with the highest standards of, and you know this, of policing. We want the highest standards. We have to have highest standards of policing.
Which most black people agree with.
Bring even greater fairness to the justice system. We did criminal justice reform. We remember that.
And you signed that too. Most black people don't know about that either.
Even greater, we will create a national clemency project to right wrongful prosecutions and to pardon individuals who have reformed their life.
So Donald Trump is going to get a team together to overturn sentences of wrongly convicted people and give second chances to people who in prison that deserve them.
Create a ladder of opportunity for African American children by delivering school choice to every parent in America. So important.
Because education equals opportunity.
Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their communities.
Because the Democrats have been trying to take black federal funding away.
Bring better and tailored health care to address the historic disparities that we've had for so many years. You know that.
Especially with the diseases that affect the black community.
This includes investing in treatments for kidney disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, sickle cell disease, and maternal mortality.
Everything that is high up on the black death chart.
Advance home ownership and wealth building in the black community.
That means more niggas out their mama and their baby mama house.
Bring more manufacturing back to the USA, which we're doing anyway. And back to the inner cities, which have been largely forgotten, although not so much in the last 3 years when you get right down to it.
But before that, we can't forget about how bad we was doing in the previous 8.
Thank you. And Democrat policies that import low-wage foreign workers from overseas to replace black workers in our inner cities.
What you think gonna happen to black employment with open borders?
Joe Biden cares more about the citizens of foreign countries than he does about black Americans living in our own country.
Because Joe Biden is a globalist.
I will always put Americans first, and that includes, very, very importantly, black Americans.
Joe Biden or nobody in the Democratic Party got a plan for black people. If they do, they sure ain't told us about it.
The Platinum Plan is a bold vision that we can and really will achieve over the next 4 years, and we'll be able to do it, if not sooner.
And Joe Biden promises come later. You won't see no proof of Joe Biden plan till 2035.
Unlike my opponent, I'm not a career politician, thank goodness. I get results and I keep my promises.
Promises made, promises kept.
Where's Gregory? Gregory. Hi,
Gregory. Mine is real short. 2 months ago, I was in a prison cell, and I'm in the White House. Let's continue to make America great again.
When have Joe Biden ever added anything to making America great?
Search your hearts and your conscience, and then vote for Joe Biden like your lives depend on it.
We are one nation, we grieve together, and we heal together. I can never imagine your pain or the depth of your anguish, but I can promise to fight for justice for all of our people.
And I want to thank my people, Igor Slavinsky, for his donation. Ain't no Russian collusion with that donation. Good looking out, Igor.
We must improve accountability, increase transparency, and invest more resources.
And help out niggas like me, like Ali Dave. Donate to my Cash App, because that's what MAGA do. Dave, you number one too.
In police training, recruiting, and community engagement.
And I want to thank LTF, LLC, for engaging in my Cash App.
Reducing crime and raising standards are not opposite goals. They are not mutually exclusive. They work together. They all work together.
And MAGA all work together. Ain't that right, Damian Domino?
That is why today I'm signing an executive order encouraging police departments nationwide to adopt the highest professional standards to serve their communities.
And with Ray Low donation, I'm going to get me some of the highest standard of weed when I go to the weed spot and they serve me with my donation.
Today's action is a big part of the solution to restoring, renewing, and rebuilding our communities.
I have to rebuild my shower head because my crackhead ass uncle broke my shower head so he could smoke crack. Andre Collado, thanks for the donation. I damn near got to remodel my whole bathroom.
For the last 3.5 years, my administration has been focused on creating opportunity.
In the last 3.5 years, my uncle been promising to go to rehab, and we have seen no results.
Fighting for equal justice and truly delivering results.
And Robert Simmons delivered results. Hey, Robert, tell Missy I'm not buying no smoke detectors, but y'all donation will be going up in smoke, if you know what I mean. That looked like Donald Trump signed police reform to me. I wonder why fake news never talk about that.
I am with you. I will fight for you. And I will win for you.
And he will beat coronavirus for you. Donald Trump, if you listening to this video, Big Lou, Bobby Noto, and MAGA is praying for you.
We will make America strong again. We will make America proud again. We will make America safe again. And we will make America great again. God bless you and good night. I love you.
And MAGA love you too. Thank you, Angel Hearts Dog Rescue, who used to be my grandmother's parole officer. Julius Seawright, my grandmother's favorite name. What's up with you, Gina? Not on here once, but on here twice. Thank you, Catherine Theodore. That's my grandmother's real name. How you doing, Mary? I'm glad you love the videos and you understand a little bit more. Elizabeth Wall, always on my videos. How you doing, Helen? Always on my videos. Also, Darren, what's up with you, Darren Gray? Michael, what's that? Loveteer? Love Tree. I don't call you Michael Love Tree. Allison, think I'm scary funny. Thank you, Allison. Kevin Woods, what's up with you, Big Kevin? Also, what's that? Synced Inked, S-C-I-N-T Inked. Jeffrey Humes, what's up with you, Jeffrey? Radomir, I'm not going to try to pronounce that. Gear for Hunters. Gear for Hunters, I got that. I'm a little late. Dustin Rawls, what's that? Isaiah Francis Ward. How you doing, Francis? Also, Zombies After Me. I got it.